We can start, sir.
Hold on. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar on mastering GSTN's latest updates. Today's webinar is more important in terms of understanding what are the changes that are happening on the GST portal. Let me share my screen. Yeah. At the start of the session, I thank Utkarsh, Akhila, Manisha for coordinating and doing the session. And GSTZen has been very instrumental in educating their customers on what's the changes that are happening on the GST day to day. And thanks to everyone on that. Just to give you a brief intro about GSTZen, GSTZen is an ASP and a GSP, application service provider, and GST Suvidha provider, which helps the taxpayers to connect to the GST portal directly without logging into the GST portal. Advantage, GST portal can be down at sometimes. GST portal will have the slowness, or the reports that are there on the GST portal is consolidated and fetched. It does a lot of reconciliation, fetching the data from the books of accounts, making corrections. So it will be one place for you to do a GST compliance. And our aim is to bring the ease of compliance. That is why we call it as GST compliance with peace, right? And GSTZen is used more than close to now 20,000 plus customers being using this platform, from mom and pop stores, small stores to listed entities. The most of the people who love the reports of GSTZen is a consolidated report in one go. All the data of all the 12 months data is visible for your better compliance. We aim to make the compliance even more better. Feel free to give your suggestions. There are customers who come back and ask that another changes, we are here to change, right? Let's start this session, and the agenda for today's discussion is RCM liability, invoice management system, the changes that are happening in 3B, and the electronic recredit and reversal statement opening balance restatement. We will also see filing of GSTR 3B through GSTZen, a live demo by Manisha, and the Q&A. Feel free to put any questions that you have in the chat bot. All right. So let me give you the context. Couple of months back, we had a session on GSTR 1A. In that webinar, I have explained the purpose of GSTR 1A. We all know earlier we had the system of GSTR 1. The data of GSTR 1 was going into GSTR 2. The data of GSTR 1 was going into GSTR 2A. That was an interim statement that came in, and it was going into 2A. If the data of 2A is accepted, the data of 2A which is accepted, it was going into 2. But if there were any corrections that are being done in 2A, if there were any corrections which were done in 2A, this was going to 1A. This was going to 1A. And the values, updated values which are coming finally from 2 used to go to 3, and 1A used to go to 3. This was the original concept. This was the original concept. And for various reasons, this has been scrapped. This got scrapped. Now, even though this got scrapped, this is now coming in a new avatar. This is coming in a new avatar. Now, the GSTN is moving to a place where the GSTR 3B is going to be static. I don't want people to make amendments in 3B. I don't want people to make any amendments in 3B. What is 3B? 3B is a glorified challan, though it is a return. By the way, it is a return, but it is a glorified challan. So you have your outward liability, input tax credit, and net that we are paying. So the government is attempting that whatever the values that you have reported in GSTR1 and whatever the values that are visible in GSTR2B, let this come to my 3B and let the credit be frozen, liability be frozen, the taxes be paid automatically. So this is how the new system is envisaged. Now let's look at the challenges in the new system. The challenges in the new system, when we come to GSTR1, it could be situation where I have erroneously reported my GSTR1. So they have addressed that. Before you file your 3B, you file a return called 1A and correct your 1. So 3B is frozen. So you don't need to change anything on liability. Then questions came on 2B. Okay, what about 2B? Then even in 2B, I have to key in the 4A5 reversal, 4B1, 4B2, those are there. Reclaim, all those things are there. How do we do it? Then they brought it IMS, which I'll explain in a while. But while we were discussing in 1A, so some of the people also asked that, okay, the table 3 has liability regarding outward, liability regarding inward also. Now, how do we address that? Okay, I'll key in the value which is there as a liability towards outward, and that would automatically become an inward, which is credit that you will report in 4A2 and 4A3 of 3B. The 31D, the liability that you are paying, you will report. Now, to ensure that the people don't make mistakes, GSTN brought a provision wherein under 88C and D, DRC01B, 1C had come. Any mismatch between 1 and 3B, an auto-generated DRC01B used to come, and any mismatch between 2B and 3B, auto-generated DRC1C used to come, right? So these liabilities were coming. Now, government was making an attempt that why at all we should give an option for room to correct 3B. Let 3B be frozen. Whatever the people wants to correct, whatever the reason they want to correct, let the correction happen before it hits the 3B. So they said, let the correction can happen before hit 3B. Let people make any correction they want to do, let them make it here. Let the 3B be static. In today's avatar, we might not be envisaging how 3B is going to be static, how we will not be able to do, because we got used to correct 3B wherever there were errors. Exempted turnover, I was not reporting or reporting. Now, input tax credit of the previous period, I was availing. So there were various things. Maybe 2 years down the line, when we are having a webinar again on filing of 3B, our complete understanding of 3B will get changed. It is better we now start adopt the new procedures that have come. We will start with one of the procedure, which is RCM liability register. Now, erstwhile under the service tax era, ITC on reverse charge was availed after the payment. While 3B has introduced in GST era, the input tax credit includes the liability that is payable under RCM also. That means you will be recording the liability in the same month, 31D, and availing the credit either in 4A2 or 4A3 in the same month. But people followed still. The liability was recorded in 1 month, credit was availed in 2nd month. Now, they have introduced a new statement, RCM liability and ITC statement. This has been introduced for reporting of reverse charge transactions on the GST portal. It is opening balance of reverse charge transactions. The purpose which they are claiming is to enhance the accuracy and transparency of RCM transactions. There are people who are making mistakes in reporting of RCM credits in other credit. That means instead of reporting in 4A2, I might report in 4A5. So when a notice comes, The reply is, I was to take here and I have taken here. But where is the option in the portal for someone to rectify it or say, if the 3B is going to be automatically populated, let the values flow from an organized way. So they have introduced that let the liabilities and ITC be matched. So the purpose is to track the carry forward of the ITC, excess paid RCM liability or short paid RCM liability, and reporting of reclaim of RCM which was reversed in the earlier period. Why would someone reverse? Because we only know rule 37 or 37A. We only know rule 37 or 37A, wherein reclaim we used to do in report it in 4B2, report it back in 4D1. But errors can happen anytime. So in any manner, it's their ability to make mistakes, that much the errors would happen. Higher the ability, higher the mistakes that would happen. Let's look at how this statement would work. Firstly, the opening balance which has been given is this report is starting from August 24. That means here we are in the September 24. In the month of September, you will be able to see this statement. How do you navigate? You log into the portal, go under services, ledgers, RCM liability, ITC statement. Don't worry, this presentation would be emailed to you. So you can log into portal little while, but make your notes. Very important, make your notes. Ask doubts, whatever the doubts you have. So the taxpayer has to report in the opening balance. It could be two situations of the opening balance. Either my RCM liability has been paid and ITC is not claimed. So my liability is more, ITC not claimed. Or I have erroneously claimed excess ITC, but RCM liability is not paid. When both are matching, there is no opening balance. My opening balance could be a plus figure or a minus figure, RCM liability figure or an ITC statement figure. Now this statement is from financial year 23-24 onwards. And if there is no mismatch between RCM liability and taxes paid, you don't need to worry about it. It's not for you. Opening balance is not for you. By the way, this is a return which will continue. I'll explain how it will continue. But in case if the RCM credit availed is lesser than the RCM liability, but such short availment is ineligible credit, you don't want to take the credit. Let's take a case of a hospital or an educational institution who do not have any outward liability. So they cannot take any input tax credit. However, they have hired a security services, the security agencies, the advocate services. Even though they do not have any outward liability, they still have to pay RCM on the inward. Now that RCM that is paid on the inward, they are not going to claim a credit because anyhow it is ineligible. It is an ineligible credit. Hence, even that needs not be reported. The last one, I want to pay a special attention here because this is also going to distort our thinking. Let's look at a situation where the short emolument is disclosed as a temporary reversal in 4B2 in the earlier period, and taxpayer is intending to reclaim that RCM of ITC in the future. When that ITC is reclaimed in future, that ITC has to be done by reporting into 4A5. The re-availment has to be done by reporting into 4A5. This is the advisory. Little deviation to the subject. Imagine I have filed bill of entry. I have filed bill of entry. Import of the goods, bill of entry is filed. Goods got cleared on 2nd September. Bill of entry was filed on 28th August. Entry in my GSTR 2B is visible in August 2B. When should I take the credit? Should I take the credit in the month of August or in the month of September? There is no definitive answer to it. 16 subsection 2 clause B says you should have been in receipt of goods and services while taking the credit. Me taking the credit is on 20th September, 2nd September, the goods got cleared. One school of thought, you can go ahead and take the credit. Another school of thought, you are filing the returns for August, which is 1st August to 31st August. So you cannot take the credit of it. You take it in the September month. What would happen when you take the credit in September month? In the month of August, in your 4A1 of GSTR 3B, let's say 1 crore is the import value, 18 lakhs IGST you have discharged, you will report 18 lakhs. Goods have not received. You don't want to claim the credit in this month, you want to defer it to the next month. Where do you park it? You will park it into 4B2. The next month when I am making a claim of it, I am claiming and regular purchases credit. Now, whatever which is 4B2, it is like technically I have not taken credit. When I take a credit, I always have to report in 4D1 an information that okay, reversal credit has been reclaimed. When I am reclaiming, will I report it in 4A1 or 4A5? Till date, there is no advisory on that. However, this RCM advisory is indicating that government will want to match the 4A5 of all reclaimed reversal credits. And pardon me for some of you, you are not familiar with these table numbers or something, you are getting confused. Feel free to put it in the chat. Your objective is to get maximum out of the session. My purpose is to give clarity to all your questions. So a reclaim of 4A1, 4A2, 4A3, 4A4 should not be in the respective original tables. It has to be part of 4A5. This advisory is giving in another way. So now the advisory is saying that do not report credit which is pending to be reclaimed in the opening balance. They are expecting you to report the disclose it in 4A5. And Akila, feel free to add if there is something you want to add additional, whatever I'm saying. Yeah. Okay, from the reconciliation point for the monthly filers, this is applicable from 1st April 2023. So prior to that, you don't need to take. Just look at the values that you have already reported in 23-24. Your annual return is due in December. Values that needs to be taken carry forward, you can report it here. Yeah. So this is your RCM recredit and reclaim statement. We are just at the fundamentals. I would complete my portion of the session by 3:45, Manisha. So today will be, I'll try completing. Give you 15 minutes, so please manage. So when will the opening balance come? Liability paid, ITC not claimed. Liability paid means it is there in 3.1D, but not there in 4A2 or 4A3. Not there in 4A2 or 4A3. So you have to report positive difference in the opening balance. You have to report plus XYZ. ITC has been claimed, but RCM is not paid. ITC has been claimed, but RCM not paid. So that means it's a basically this is a since it is a liability statement, so you report as a negative balance. If there is any reclaim of ITC reversed, the expectation is do not report it here. So be very careful of this. By when I have to disclose the opening balance, I have to disclose the opening balance by 31st October. We are in September, you have time till 31st October. And if it is not reported by 31st October, you cannot even make the amendments. If you have reported by 31st October, you can amend the opening balance 3 times. After this date, amendment will not be possible. Those who do not have anything to be reported, listen this carefully. Those who do not have anything to be reported, your balances are matching. My suggestion, fill a value of 0 and submit it. There is a difference between 0 and blank in the GSTN concept. If there is a value 0, it can be amended upward or downward. If you are filing nil, that means it is null. So no amendment possible if you are not filing any value. So a blank cannot be amended. What can be amended upward or downward is 0. And I tell this concept whenever you are filing your GSTR1, your B2C section, please file it with 0 value if you do not have B2C. By mistake, if you need to include a value at a later point, you cannot amend it because you have filed a null value. This concept applies in all the returns across the GST portal. So you need to be aware of this because it's a fundamental concept. Certain FAQs. Now, in GSTR 3B, GST is paid under RCM for GETA services, let's say 1.5 lakh. Now, this is an eligible credit and entire amount is taken as credit in 3B. In this scenario, what is the disclosure to be taken? The answer obvious no, because you have already taken, you have paid the liability, you have taken the credit, no issue. All right. Let's like second scenario. Second scenario, it is an ineligible credit. So in the first scenario, I am saying this as an eligible credit and I have availed it, amount is taken. So action is no action to be taken. Second scenario, it is an ineligible credit and I have not availed. Even here, you don't need to do any action. All right. Let's look at third scenario. RCM is paid for advocate services 1 lakh. This is eligible credit, but the taxpayer has reversed it in 4B2. Means he wants to take it at a later point in time. Even here, you should not take any action because reclaim has to be done in 4A5 and not 4A2. I guess so far all the points clear. Further FAQs. The GTA services, this is an eligible credit, but I forgot to take an input tax of everything. I not even a single rupee I have taken. So I have missed taking the credit. Because I have missed taking a credit, I have to take a credit. So I will be reporting a plus 1.5 lakhs. I will be reporting a plus 1.5 lakhs. On the contrary, I have paid a liability of 1.5 lakh while I have availed 2 lakhs. So I have taken extra credit. So I'll be reporting a minus 50,000. I'll be reporting minus 50,000. Now, while I was discussing with a couple of my CA colleagues, fundamental question was asked, what will happen if I don't do this? Okay, you want me to do this. Tell me where is the provision in the act or the rules which is warranting me to do this. I have no answer to it. But all that I'm saying is, it's a different story. When I'm going to lawyer for litigating a case, that's a different story. But while you are trying to comply with the provisions of the law, then the way you have to look at it is avoid notice. The way you would be looking at it is avoiding notice. Why notice? It's a system driven notice. We have 1.4 crore SSEs. We don't have not even 1/10 of that, the officers assessing it. So today the assessments would be done by the system. In the system, if it finds that the values are not matching, it is going to issue a system generated notice. So why do you want to face a system generated notice? So better to comply with the law. Moving to the next topic, invoice management system. This is another new thing coming. Okay, by the way, just to sum up on the reverse charge liability, once you key in the opening balance, I am under presumption like how you have electronic credit reclaim statement. So you will now have multiple ledgers. So the next ledger is IMS ledger, which we are going to see. Before I walk into IMS, let me see if there are any questions on the chat. I'll pick up that. Rohit is asking, I pay RCM on GTA below 750. Some of the transporter file on the portal. So I'm always filing more RCM than filed by the parties reflecting in 2A, 2B. Is there issue? Answer is no. Rohit, another point. Earlier we had this exemption 750 rupees per consignment, 1500 per conveyance exemption was there. This exemption is no longer there. Those who are still following that small amounts paid to GTA is not under RCM. Please change that. Nandini, RCM is to be reported basis 2B or GST or 3B. RCM has to be reported basis your books of accounts, not 2B, not 3B. ITC claimed in 3B excluding reversal if done. Add of RCM again, will we get a different? Murali sir, I honestly did not understand it. Maybe you give me some example. KK accounts new, where to update ITC pertaining to the import of goods. ITC pertaining to import of goods to be reported in 4A1. Every dealer to declare RCM value or only service provider. Every dealer, whether it is dealing in goods or services, RCM is applicable. So notification 13/2017 has updated entries. Okay, bill of entry and actual purchase is in different month. Yeah, if it is in a different month, ideally I would suggest the month in which bill of entry is there, you report it in 4A1. And if you don't want to take a credit, report it into 4B2. And the month in which you want to take a credit, report it in 4D1 and 4A5. Lengthy process, but yes, this is the process. If we claimed excess RCM, what do we need to do? Ramya, if you have claimed excess RCM, report that excess as a negative in the opening balance. Elumalai sir, RCM to be possible nil return because taxpayer benefit future amendment. Yes, file with a zero value. If needed, you can amend at a later. Bhaskar, RCM is currently not available as eligible. If we get a favorable order, I may have to take it later. Is there any provision to report it? Very good. There is no mechanism to report the reverse it in terms of pending disputes. Earlier, we used to pay on protest. So I'm paying this money on protest. The feature is not there. But Elmalai sir, I would suggest it, Bhaskar, I would suggest it that you report it in 4B2. That means it is parked in a temporary credits. Later you can re-evaluate. Yuvraj, I have paid RCM in April, but input tax credit next month. So is it an opening balance? Yes, that's an opening balance. But ideally, always pay in the same month, avail credit in same month, do not carry forward. If added of 4A5 for RCM missing out due to the tax liability statement difference, Murali, you will be adding in 4A5 only if you have reported in 4B2. If you have not even reversed the credit, you have not even taken the credit, then it should come into your opening balance. Okay, there's one hand which is raised and putting it down. I'll take the questions after the demo. So I'm running short of time. Let's move to invoice management system. This is another thing which is introduced by GSTN to allow taxpayers to manage invoices more effectively on the GST portal. Basically, this is an alternative to 2B, or I'll say enhancement to 2B. And nothing is going to be stable in GST portal. Every time when you learn something and you said that, yes, I got it, you are going to get a new for you to learn. Don't worry. Now, IMS is available on the portal from 1st October. What is this? This is about accepting, rejecting, or keeping invoice pending. So when you accept, that means you want to take it into 2B. When you reject, you say, I don't want it into my 2B. I don't want to claim ITC on it. It doesn't belong to me. Some idiot, some vendor has uploaded in his R1 putting my name. So it doesn't belong to me. Pending, I don't know at this point, I'll see it later, which was the concept of 4B2 earlier. Now, if the invoices remains in IMS dashboard for future action, they would not be included in GST or 2B or 3B. So imagine pool of invoices which have come, you will be ticking some. Those which have been ticked is going to your dashboard of 2B. Those who have rejected is removed from your 2B and going back to the vendor. Those you have kept it as pending, it is parked separately in some shadow ledger. It will come back and appear in the next month. And when you tick it in next month, it will go to 2B. You may say, I thought 2B was a static statement. It is not going to change. Yes, 2B was static all this while. Now on 14th of every month, 2B is going to be as a draft mode. It is not a final. only the accepted invoices will be auto-populated into ITC available section of 2B. Rejected invoices will be excluded. Pending invoices will not be appearing in the current month, but it will appear in the next month again to take an action on it. Currently, again, listen this carefully. Currently, portal is making everything as deemed acceptance. Till you get adjusted to it, the portal is going to make it as deemed acceptance. Which means even if you don't take any action, all the records from IMS will flow to 2B. However, over the time, after you get used to it, you have to take an action on IMS. This is going to come. We will be coming up a 3B full-fledged webinar once the entire process is settled. And if there is any action taken on the invoice after 14th, the draft 2B, which I have said as draft 2B, there is a values which will be recomputed and it will become finalized. Okay. So one value is going to 1A, and after 1A, the values are also added to IMS. So IMS is auto-populated on a real-time basis. In my earlier webinar, I've clearly told one values filed in time will go to current month 2B. 1A will be going into the next month 2B. Then how are you saying IMS real time? IMS is real time because it is populated only from the 14th. So draft 2B, after the draft 2B. Hence, the portal is kind of making it vulnerable, saying that, okay, on a real time accept, reject. Very soon this would be coming. So the supplier invoice shall be transferred to IMS. The action from the recipient is accept, reject, pending. If you don't take any action, it will be treated as deemed accepted and it will be transferred to final. Even accepted will go to final. But if it is rejected, then on the supplier side liability will be increased if it is a credit note. In a case of a credit note, what will happen? The supplier is reducing his liability, asking the recipient to reduce his ITC. So in my 2B, credit note is a lower side, but the recipient, a naughty recipient, has rejected the credit note. When a credit note is rejected, it goes back to the supplier. Hey boss, you pay me a little more. It is going to show it up, right? Now the rejected on recipient side, what will happen? The invoice shall be part of the rejected ITC in the 2B. It will be available for claim in the subsequent month 3B. Current month, it will not come participate into the claim. Pending will be transferred to the IMS of the next month. Rejected will not be able to be claimed at all. Now you may ask, by mistake I have rejected, what will happen? You can't do anything. Go back to the supplier, ask supplier to accept it again, let the flow process once again. So the draft 2B will become final 2B. Between the draft 2B and final 2B, the changes would be rejected invoices and pending invoices. So you have 100 line items. So rejected and pending will be removed from your final 2B. And as I'm doing the session, one request for again Akhila, Utkarsh and Shishir, maybe you can include this in the monthly compliance dashboard which is being given. The values which are out of the summary values which are there in all these ledgers should be forming part of the compliance report. And I'm not sure how many of the GSTZen customers using the monthly compliance report. That is a very powerful tool. Like how I say the consolidated report, which is a very useful report. Likewise, there is a compliance report which gets generated after you file your 3B. I would recommend everyone to download that and watch that because it will summarize all that you have done and any issues or likely issues it is going to throw up. It will act like a management compliance report which you can submit it to the management. Please look at that very useful report. So key points on IMS, the 2B will be sequential. That means the GSTR 2B of the return period will only be of 3B. So it is going to be linked. All the accepted, rejected records will move out of IMS dashboard and move to 2B, and from there it will move to 3B. If you don't do anything, everything will be deemed as accepted. Currently, IMS is a optional for taxpayers. Okay. I don't know whether it continue to be optional, but the way things are moving, once it gets adjusted, people then they will say, I don't know what is to be. Like we will slowly we forgot what is to be and no one is looking. Slowly we will forget to be also. It will all be at IMS driven. Now IMS, when we see on the portal, both inward and outward, let me show, because outward meaning the supplier, because the recipient rejected, supplier will also have an obligation. So both needs to be seen. So once you go into services returns, there is invoice management system dashboard. You click on that, you will see both inward and outward. You will see on inward and outward supplies. So basis the action taken by the recipient, this is visible to you. So when I click on the inward supplies, all the accepted, rejected, kept pending, a summary is shown to you. A summary is shown to you. If you don't do anything, everything will be deemed as accepted. All right, let me just, these are all the screenshots. And on the supplier side, when I click on the outward also it will show, because they might have rejected a regular invoice, they might have rejected a credit note. Please note, if a credit note is rejected, then it will be added as a liability. This will be added as a liability. So you have to select the financial year in the respective drop down. You will be navigating through each of the things. If a recipient has erroneously rejected it, a regular invoice, here they have to contact the supplier to again push it back to the IMS window. So some FAQs, what happens when invoice is rejected? It excluded from to be, notification is sent to supplier, a claim has to, no ITC cannot be claimed. And how do I bring back? Supplier has to make an action either to amend it or reissue. So it will come back to the IMS dashboard. So you have to monitor the IMS dashboard. Here again, Utkarsh, so you have to build this system where people can monitor the IMS dashboard from the GSTN portal. What happens if no action is taken on IMS dashboard? Everything will be deemed as accepted. The impact on the ITC is everything will be marked as an eligible ITC. What happens if there is, I forgot to correct? So then it goes back to the same issue. You reverse it in the next month, all those, that saga continues. If an invoice is marked as accepted, will it get logged for correcting the supplier? No. This is not, we are not into locking. I've just accepted, that means credit is taken. Supplier can go back and delete meaning cancel that, increase the value, decrease the value, all those can be done by the supplier. It is not going to get logged at this point. Don't take it to me that, sir, once you told it will not be logged, it shouldn't get logged eternally. We never know. As of now, IMS, when you accept, invoice is not logged. Like there are situations when the invoices are logged. After you file your R9, you can't amend the records. After you file your refund, you cannot. So there are situations where your GSTR once will also get logged. After you amend the invoice once, second time it doesn't get amended, it gets logged. So in IMS, you take an action that is not getting logged. What's the suggested approach? Regularly monitor the IMS dashboard. In your books of accounts, introduce this IMS ledger so that if you're marking something pending, everything, so because these are parallel records, you also parallelly monitor it through books of accounts. Moving to GSTR 3B changes, let me see if there are any questions on IMS. I'll take up that and then I'll move to 3B. What if I wrongly rejected and later realized? Mohanji, I said contact supplier, ask supplier to push it back to IMS. He has a button to again push it to IMS. In IMS, can we amend? No. You can only accept, reject, keep it pending. You can't change the values. By when we have to accept or invoice in 2B, not in 2B, in the invoice IMS dashboard, you will be accepting or changing. Yuvraj is asking, sir, ineligible credit invoices, what can I do? If something is not eligible, you will not reject it. You will accept it and put it into your 4B1. It will come to your 4A5 and 4B1. Yeah, perfect, Rohit. The next example was what you have given is right. Instead of rejecting, this is how you have to do it. After deemed acceptance, can we reject? No. Once it is accepted, you cannot reject it. But supplier can change it. Where can we see IMS and 2B accept or decline on the Zen portal? In the Zen portal, the dashboard is not ready. That is where my request, Utkarsh, you have to commit a timeline to the users when the IMS portal will also come. Is there any provision to avail credit due to various reason? Bhaskar sir, your question is cryptic. I cannot answer this. From when does IMS become active? Vinay, it is not a history we are studying. This just came in this month. Don't worry. If I have more invoices, that is thousand of invoices, any short way to work on IMS? SIPL, it is GSTZen. Tools like GSTZen only works. The records more than 500, you need to have an ASP or a GSP helping you all this. What if my customer rejects a credit note? Will my liability get increased? Yes, this is the biggest fear KKACC knew. The way the portal is designed, that liability will increase, but you got to go back and to speak to your customer saying that you can't reject a credit note. If the supplier files R1, then only it will be appearing to the recipient. Yes, it will. IMS will be appearing only after filing it. Very good question. On a daily basis, once IRN is generated, will it happen? I'm sure that is going to happen. That is what they are moving towards. Can we accept input consolidated? Yes, Ramesh, madam, you will have that button, select all, accept all, that is there. You don't do anything also, it will automatically get accepted. Pending ITC for April to September 24, how to carry forward ITC under IMS or opening balance? The pending ITC, that means you have not availed it so far. So you have to bring it into 3B. Right now, there is no method to bring it. There was an opening balance restatement has come. I will explain why that has come, but that will not address your issue at this point. GSTR 3B changes. We are going to have a full-fledged session on GSTR 3B because there is a negative liability that is going to come up. They have given the draft format, not come up on the portal or the schema. Maybe in the next month, we will have one session on it. So certain changes in table 4 of 3B to ensure there is a correct reclaimable figure. The ITC, whichever is reversed in 4B2 earlier, that will be reclaimed in 4A5. Now, 4A5 also needs to be explicitly reported in table 4D1. This is something so that the government wants to have kind of a correlation, current month credit, subsequent month credits. So your 4A5 of 2B mismatch should correlate with 4D1. Last year, we had this electronic credit reversal and reclaim. This has surfaced again. Why? People, we had December was the due date, they extended it by January. Now, what is this reclaim statement? Basically, it is the credit which you have temporarily parked in 4B2, you will have to take it. Now, the government has opened the opening balance amendment from 15th September to 31st October. And any amendments declared in the opening balance can be available for amendment till 30th November. What is the balance? They have to balance, they have to report the balance as of July 23, the last year. So after this, whatever the transactions that you are doing now, it's already there in the electronic credit ledger. So something which is actually there in 2B, you have not even take, it will not come into this ledger. You have to report it into 4A5 and park it into 4B2. So what they are giving is amend the opening balance, which is of July 23. And system will not allow to reclaim ITC in case of there is an excess reversal made in the earlier periods. So you do not have a balance in the reclaim ledger. The value in 4D1 will today any value in 3B can be edited. Values change are more than 5%, it will give you a red figure, but you can still edit it. But they are moving to an era where 3B is going to be locked. All right. So with this bank, We are at 3:45. So, Manisha, just one more minute before I give it to you. Let me see the questions and I'll again come back. If the invoice is 1,000, but I want to take 500, how is it possible? Bhaskar, perfect. I will not say invoice 1,500. Either invoice is 1,000, you take 1,000 or don't take. But if you have two, 3 invoices, one invoice you don't want to take, that invoice value which you don't want to take, park it into 4B2. Since it is not at invoice level, currently also 1,000 can be in 500, 4A5, 500 will be in 4B2. Whenever you want to take the credit, report that in 4D1 and 4A5 again. What in case of taxpayer opted to QRMP? There is no issue in Gupta sir. I didn't get the question, so maybe you can come back. Because QRMP, they are only taking action in a quarterly basis. If we want to reverse proportional common input tax credit, we reverse in IMS. No, no, no. IMS is not 3B. Your rule 42 will be happening in your 3B. So let's say 90% of my turnover is taxable, 10% is exempted. The common credit reversal will happen in 4B1. 4A5 into 10% will go to your 4B1. 4A5 common credit of 4A5. Okay. With this, I invite Manisha to give us a demo of GSTR 3B filing through GSTZen. And stay tuned, put your questions. I'm here to answer all your questions once the demo is done. Over to you, Manisha.
Thank you, sir. Hello, everybody. My name is Manisha and I work in GSTZen. Today, I will be demonstrating you how you can file your GSTR 3B in GSTZen in no time. For the same, I'll just quickly share my screen. Yeah. So once you sign up and log in GSTZen, this will be your dashboard. You can add your GST number under one screen. Here it is showing the GST filing status. As you can see, this green color indicates that we have already filed the return on time. This red color indicates that we have filed the return, but that's quite late after the date. And this blue color indicates that we have not filed the return, but the due date has not been passed. So I'll be using one of the GST to demonstrate you how you can file your GST 3B with the easy steps. So once you select the GST number, it will take you to the next page where you get the major options like download the report, reconciliation, and file GST report.
Manisha, your voice is becoming feeble. I'm not sure it is to me or everyone else. Yeah, Manisha, yes. Can you just come closer to mic?
Yeah.
No, no, no. It's the same.
Is it better now, sir?
Yeah, perfect.
Let's talking about download a report. So this download report, where there you will get all major options, the consolidated report, GSTR1, GSTR1 invoices, CB, compliance report. So all these reports are available on C as well as illegal reconciliation. We have chaser resources to it, but chaser
Okay,
resources.
Manisha, I guess the voice is again going back. Utkarsh, Akhila, would you want to do it or you want me to do it? Or some issue. Manisha's voice is not coming. Nikhil. Or Vasishtha.
Just a moment, sir.
Guys, give us a minute.
Sir, is it possible we can have this demo in the next session, sir?
No problem. So maybe Akhila, you can just share the screen. I'll walk them through the process. Given that we just started it, it shouldn't take much time. Okay, no worries. We can, yeah, okay, Akila is sharing the screen. Yes. So whenever you log into GSTZen, you always have three options. Either you download, just go back to the previous screen, but sorry. Yeah. So you will have always three options: download a report, reconcile the data with the government portal, or file the returns. Download a report means you want to download R1, 3B, 2A, whatever the things. Or you have data with books of accounts, you want to reconcile data with the books of accounts, you do that. Or you want to file a report. These are the three quick things. So to file your GSTR 3B, you click on file returns. All the returns that are available to file are visible. GSTR 3B monthly return, you will click. Whichever is the period which is pending, it will automatically show, and you can click on that return. You can also update to see whether returns that are filed, not filed. So all the returns till September are to be filed. August. So August 3B is filed, right? So all that you will do is you will click this button called August 24. Now it will give you step-by-step filing. So nothing much to be worried. It will give you a simple navigating thing. Download the data which is auto-populated from the government portal. You can do it by two ways. Either you log in with the OTP or you enter the username password. I have done it 2 weeks back. This is kind of static. You want to download again, you can go ahead and download again. Once it is downloaded in step 2, it is saying, hey, these are the values that are being showing as your outward liability. And these are the values which are showing as ITC that are available. In this case, the values are only this. So that is what is being shown. You want to edit it. You can now come to your step 3 where you will fill the return. Come to the step 3, you will fill the return. Now you can fill it by clicking this button. You can just fill the form on the go. It will open the entire 3B form and it will show the values that were populated, the values which were shown. It is going to show. You will be filling wherever the value which you think is the right value that needs to be filled, you will fill it. Let me tell you the beauty of this. Once you do it, okay, let me save my workings and go back. The beauty of it, I would say, on the right side top, you have a button called Save Your Workings. Most of you will have different Excels, different ways, different reconciliations. Now, what values that are going in are the underlying things which you have worked. You can put it as an attachment here. In August 24, your memory is fresh, you will remember. 5 years later, when the audit assessments, everything are happening, someone is asking, why did you file this when the books of accounts are showing so much? You have no answer. But you can just log into GSTZen, open your workings and see why that got filed that much. So your step 3 is done. You fill your form and you don't need to do anything. You say that I'm good with this. So log into the portal either with OTP or username password and you can upload it to the portal. Like this return got uploaded 2 hours ago. So, and it says that, hey, something has to be paid in tax. Do you want to create a challan? I'll say yes, okay, I go ahead, create a challan. The amounts will be populated. It will be checking the balance in the electronic cash ledger, if any. If not, it will automatically create a challan. By logging into the portal, it will do it. Once it is submitted, all that you will do is you will hit this download summary. Don't worry. Even if someone by mistake reported 1 crore instead of 1 lakh, no worries. You download the summary. You only have to make sure that offset liability. You are saying that I am good, I am okay with this summary. So much is paying through ITC, so much is paying through cash, all that I'm okay with it. Once you are satisfied, you have to hit this upload, because once you upload this button, there is no question of reconciliation. There is like, you can't change. You only have to submit, file it using EVC or DSC. For that, again, you don't need to go to the government portal. You using the button here, you will do it here. I would suggest, it may appear to you that it is time taking in the beginning, but I will still suggest follow this process. So you are following a process and the data is there at one place. Yeah. So this is about filing of 3B. Elimala is asking how to reconcile GSTR 3B with purchase your software. Reconciling 2B and the books of accounts is like breeze. It doesn't need anything. Though that's not the purpose of the session today, I would request you to get in touch with the support team. They will be doing a demo session for you. But let me just show, in the interest, click this button, reconcile books with the data. So purchase register versus 2B, and whichever is the period I want to do for 24-25. So it's all step. You can upload your purchase register. Either if you are a books of accounts or Tally, Zoho, there are integrations that are available. You can use those integrations and it will automatically do it. Your number has been taken. Our support team would connect you. Utkarsh or Vasishtha will connect you. Data from the government portal. Again, you just click this button. Once you click this button, data is automatically, you don't need to go to government portal. That is the advantage. Once the reconciliation is done, you have 3 bases of reconciliation. You can download an Excel basis the invoice date. You can download an Excel basis the 3B. Like you don't want to claim the credits now, you want to park it, take it later. So in any of those methods, you can download the Excel for the ease of your understanding. What is always top is commonly used. That is what you will have to use this. All right. Hope this gives you clarification of how GSTR filing happening through Zen. Any questions to anyone? Perfect. Yep. Q&A. We are again bang on time. We are ending the session on time. This is our WhatsApp channel. We always update our participants about the latest things that are happening on the GST. In case if you have not subscribed, you can subscribe. We are not going to spam with any information other than GST. You still have some technical doubts, you can reach to me on this the support mail ID, venu@vnv.ca. In case if you need some technical assistance, it is support@GSTZen. Utkarsh, can you share the contact details of ours? You can, yes, here is where you can connect to us, support@GSTZen.in. That is where we are available. So you can reach to us, and any questions that you have on the demo or anything, the team is there to help you. I'm here a couple of more minutes so that if you have any question, we can ask, we can take those questions. This is the support contact details. Any questions to anyone? Parking of ITC, why is it required? We never used this feature. When ITC is available, we claim it in the same month. Vinay, 16 subsection 2 has various conditions. You should have received the goods or services. So many cases you might not receive. In case of lots, it will come in a different, the last lot when you receive that when you will claim. Or if someone has filed his R1, did not file his 3B, Rule 37A warrants you to reverse. If you have availed the credit, he filed return, everything is there in 2B, everything. But you have not paid to the vendor within 180 days, again you have to reverse it under Rule 37A and reclaim it. So there are various reasons that would come up. How to join the WhatsApp group? That's pretty simple. You just need to click on the link given here in the, I have put the link in the chat. You just need to click on this link. It will automatically, you will be coming into the WhatsApp group. Or this is the QR, you can scan it, you will be there. When is GST's amnesty scheme notification? Rule 128A has come. 54th GST Council also had a discussion about providing a new rule, giving the form and manner of it. Hopefully, in the next month, we will be having one session on the amnesty scheme. We will see. Any other questions? There being no questions, thank you very much. Thanks to Utkarsh, Manisha, and Akila for putting up this session and continuously doing the session every fortnight. And special thanks to participants for taking your time and being here. Every time you are here, my knowledge is getting updated. So thank you for that. Thank you so much.